guys, my name is Elise and welcome back to another week with the Foundry Kids, and welcome to the first week of our new series called On My Block. This month we're talking about compassion, and compassion is caring enough to do something about someone else's needs. And this month we're going to be learning all about how Jesus had compassion and how he cared about us so much that he was able to do things to help us meet our needs. So I'm really excited to talk to you guys this month about compassion, but first we're going to stand up and sing a song. Because it is a brand new month, we have a brand new memory verse for you guys. And this month, our memory verse comes from the book of Micah. Micah is in the Old Testament, and our memory verse is Micah chapter 6, verse 8. And it says, he has showed you, when they say he, they mean the Lord. So he has showed you what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To act justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with your God. So that is our memory verse for this month. Again, Micah chapter 6, verse 8. And today our story comes from the book of Luke chapter 4, verse 14. And we're going to learn all about Jesus's purpose and how his purpose was to help others and show compassion.
And this is my block. Okay, so I don't actually live here, but isn't this the coolest little town? Almost everyone you know lives in a neighborhood. Of course, what your neighborhood looks like may be different from someone else's. You may live in this kind of neighborhood. A lawn to mow, swing set in the backyard, lemonade stand in the driveway. Or maybe your neighborhood is more like this. Everything you need is within walking distance from your home. Or some neighborhoods could be like, hello out there! But every neighborhood has one thing in common: neighbors! They've all got people. And whenever there are people around, that's when you need to know about compassion. Compassion is caring enough to do something about someone else's need. Because the people on your block have all kinds of needs. When they get sick, they need a doctor. If they want to learn how to add and subtract, they need a teacher. If they lose a cat up a tree, they need someone with a really big ladder. These three have made it their purpose on Earth to care about people in their neighborhoods. In today's story, we're going to hear about Jesus' purpose on Earth, and maybe ours too. I'm not really sure what I want my purpose to be. I just hope I get my own action figure. Yee! I'll see you in a bit.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now, for an amazing story, inspired by the book of Luke, chapter 4, verses 14 through 30.
Even though Jesus was on this earth for 33 years, there's still not much we know about his first 30 years. We do know that he visited Jerusalem for the Passover feast with his parents. He learned carpentry skills from his father Joseph. And when he was about 30, he went down to the Jordan River and asked his cousin John to baptize him in the water.
It is right for us to do this. It carries out God's holy plan.
As Jesus rose from the water, God's voice called out from heaven,
"This is my son, and I love him. I am very pleased with him."
It was an incredible way for Jesus to begin his ministry. After 40 days in the wilderness alone with God, Jesus returned to Galilee, filled with the Spirit of God. Anytime he visited a new town, he went to the place of worship, the synagogue, to teach the people.
You are the light of the world.
Isn't he just the bee's knees?
Everywhere Jesus went, people were amazed and praised his teaching. That is, until he got to Nazareth, the town where he had grown up.
Well, if it isn't Carpenter Boy Jesus!
Hey man, where you been?
We hear you talk real big now.
On the Sabbath day, Jesus went into the synagogue. An attendant handed him a rolled papyrus.
The scroll of Isaiah.
Isaiah was a prophet who lived hundreds of years before Jesus, and God had spoken to Isaiah about a Messiah who had come to rescue God's people, and Isaiah had written down every word.
Watch that papyrus as you unroll it. A bit crackly.
Jesus stood before the crowd of worshipers and unrolled the scroll until he came to the right place.
The Spirit of the Lord is on me. He has anointed me to announce the good news to poor people. He has sent me to announce freedom for prisoners. He has sent me so that the blind will see again. He wants me to set free those who are treated badly. And he has sent me to announce the year when he will set his people free.
There was silence as Jesus rolled up the scroll and sat back down. Everyone stared.
Today, this passage of Scripture is coming true as you listen.
Jesus hadn't just read some dry, dusty, ancient words. Jesus had declared that he was God's Messiah, that he was there to announce good news and bring freedom to the poor, the hurting, and those who had been mistreated.
But he's Joseph's son, isn't he? He can't be the Messiah.
What I'm about to tell you is true. A prophet is not accepted in his hometown.
Words are easy.
He calls himself a prophet? I studied with him on those benches right over there.
Thinks he's something special because he can read a scroll.
All around the synagogue, people rose to their feet, glaring. They turned on Jesus.
You are not welcome here anymore.
That's right.
We don't need you making things up.
The people were so angry they forced Jesus out of the synagogue. He allowed them to herd him straight through the village, all the way to a cliff on the edge of town.
Get rid of him!
Throw him down!
But Jesus simply turned and looked at the people, sorrow in his eyes. The men and women that he'd known and loved growing up wouldn't accept who he was. The crowd couldn't face Jesus. In their anger, they had missed the whole point, that Jesus had come to make things right for those who were hurting and overlooked. Jesus walked right through the crowd, away from the cliff edge. They parted to let him go through. Then he left Nazareth and went on to Capernaum, where he continued to carry out his mission.
When Jesus was here, he had a mission to announce the good news to people who needed to hear it and to care about people who'd been treated badly or had been overlooked. He came to heal, to teach, and to rescue. That was his purpose. And Jesus fulfilled that purpose when he died on the cross for the sins of the whole world. That's how much compassion he has. That's how much he cares for us. So, if we're going to follow Jesus, that doesn't mean we literally have to walk where Jesus walked. But it does mean that we should have a similar purpose. We should care about others. Your purpose might be to heal. When someone isn't feeling well, maybe you can do something to help them feel better. Or when someone is having a hard time understanding something, you can help teach them. Or you can rescue someone from danger. You can be a hero. And guess what? You don't have to be a doctor or a teacher or a firefighter to care about others. You can care about the people on your block right now. You know how? You can lend a hand to someone who needs one. You can make somebody laugh. Or you can listen. Or you can just be there for someone who's all alone. Jesus cared so much for other people, and we should too. That's why the one thing to remember today is this. Following Jesus means caring about others. That's true in your neighborhood and in mine. I've got my own action figure. Spitting image. Close enough. I'll see you next time. Can you play me? Okay, thanks.
The bottom line is that following Jesus means caring about others. There is all kinds of ways that we can care about others. You don't have to grow up to be a firefighter or a doctor or a teacher. Caring for others can mean doing something nice for your friends or your siblings or your parents. It can mean like holding doors open or getting them a glass of water when they're thirsty. Those are all ways that we can care for others. And caring for others helps us live even more like Jesus. So, how can you care for others this week? I can't wait to talk to you guys next week, and I'll see you later. Okay, bye.